Hey gang, so today's another sponsored video by GEEONE, and today they have sent the Crossbones. This is one of the most unique fidgets I have tried yet. And I mean, I've tried a few unique ones. I have never seen anything like this before. Now you can actually get it right now on GEEONE for I think like 100 and I'm checking right now. It is like $102.99, which is a very specific price. It's a very interesting price. But anyways, if you use my code FidgetFix, you get 10% off. So why not, right? Anyways, this thing is cool. This one's in solid steel or stainless steel. Solid. Well, I mean, it is solid. It's solid too. But anyways, it's a lot of fun. We're gonna open up. We're gonna have a look. We're gonna see what makes it tick and click. And yeah, it's the Crossbones. It's pretty cool. Let's go. Okay, so here we go with the Crossbones. Now, this is an absolutely unique fidget. It is a very interesting design. It's kind of like a weird morph between like a haptic ring, like kind of like a coin and a ring together. And I say coin because it's got that coin click to it. And it's a ring because if any of you have ever used like a haptic ring before, we all know like a little ratchet ring. We all know this little kind of magnet configuration in here, like the mechanic ring or something. So let's look at how we play with this. So this is a very interesting type of fidget, and you actually have to use it in kind of specific ways, I guess, to get the most out of it. So the index flick, we'll call it, is using your thumb. Your thumb always has to press against the center face for if you're using your index finger or your middle finger, and you end up having to kind of jam this bone, we'll call it, into the crook of the finger. So you see here, I'm pushing down on it, but I'm also pushing with equal force with my thumb, so that if that way, like I can kind of press down with my index finger and it doesn't go flying out. The other thing that's happening on a more sort of subtle level or almost subconscious level is the middle finger. Watch this. The middle finger moves to adjust the bones to line it up with your index. Because without that, you're kind of reaching up here and trying to get the bone down. And that doesn't really work. So the middle finger kind of rolls and then lets you push the index finger into place. Does that make sense? You're not pushing your index finger in place, you're pushing the bones into place, and then the index finger is free to come down. So when you start moving, you get this double click. And then you could also do the same with the middle finger. It's a little more awkward, but what's fun is sometimes you'll switch. So I'll do the middle, then the index. And of course, the minute I start thinking about it, it gets tricky, but it still works. But really, I find the index finger the easiest. And then the other one is the pocket grab. So if you've got a coat with big pockets like I do, I walk and I kind of put this in almost like a claw. It's a little hard to see in the camera because obviously the camera's not underneath looking up, but I have this claw position. And then I just kind of use my thumb to trigger it, we'll say. But this, to me, I mean, yeah, it works if you're holding it sideways like this, but it's a bit awkward because it's sitting on your fingers at the same time while you're trying to kind of move the bones around. So I find when it's down like this, it's kind of sitting on these fingers. So then that lets you, it kind of takes the pressure off the bones a little bit. So it just lets you be a little bit more free with how you move it. So those are, like I said, kind of like the ways I play with it. Again, I go back mostly to the index. But let's look at, first of all, what's making that clicking sound. These little protruded areas, there's 4 of them. And let's see if I can kind of line this up. Now, this is hard because I'm pushing against polar or opposite. What is it? Reverse polarized magnets in the middle. So anytime you hear a click, it's the bone hitting on these little protrusions here. That's what gives us the click. The snap comes from these magnets, which end up here on the inside, and we'll take it apart in a minute to show you. It's sliding across these 3 magnets. There's 4 sets of these magnets on this ring. And the middle one has the reverse polarization, which causes this to kind of want to jump, right? So you get one jump, and then when you push it a second time, the whole ring moves. So you kind of get like this 2-position click. Because each ring kind of moves. If you notice that, like I'm moving the top, and then the bottom one's actually moving. It's a little tricky to show, but once you're holding it, you get it. Now, my only complaint about this is these are a little sharp. So when you first start using it, you get hot spots, or at least I do. These edges get kind of cutty. I wish these were rounded off. That would be kind of perfect if they were. All right, now let's look at the inside of this and see what makes us tick. So there's a couple things to talk about. First of all, there are balls inside here, and they are sitting inside little tracks. There are no springs, so we don't get those kind of surprises when we open it up. But these balls, I think these ones are like little Teflon balls, are so small that sometimes they get stuck inside the wedge. And if you're clumsy with the way you try to get them out, they just go flying. So here's how I do it. Face down, I can see that one side has the bones attached to it. The other plate is on the bottom. I'm going to press down on the bones of the bottom plate, and I'm going to pull up from the bones on the top plate. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I can then control how fast that comes off. So what are we looking at here? Here's our lid. Here are the 4 balls. So I am going to just get those out of here very gently. Now, for the most part, they just come right out like this. But sometimes in these little corners, they actually get stuck. This one didn't. It's playing nice for me right now, which is good. Thank you. I'll just move those over. And then we also get, I'll just use the tweezers for this. Will it come off? Oh, come on. There we go. So we also get this little Teflon ring. There are no bearings in here. These little spacer rings just allow for a smoother rotation. The main thing is we have a magnet in the middle on both sides. And then, of course, we can see inside here in these arms, this is this little magnet here, right, on both arms, turns around and connects to the magnets on the ring. So I'm going to move this over. Now, here's what I find a little easier. Take this ring out. Yes, I could pull it out, but the magnets on the ring are still connected to the magnets on the arms. And as you know, when you get past that magnet, sometimes, you're pulling and then this jerky movement happens and your hand goes flying. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to limit that movement by turning this over. And these little edges of these little sort of nubs of this ring, I'm going to push down on them. And then I'm going to pull up. So that just makes it a bit easier because I know I can only travel a really tiny distance if I push down on that ring. And then once it hits the mat or whatever I'm doing, then it's easy to pull this guy off. And then we have another Teflon ring here. And we've got 4 more balls. And that's it. So with our magnets here, what we have are sort of polarity is the same on we'll call it the 1 and 3 position, and the middle is a reverse polarity. And that is so that when this rotates, it kind of pushes it and gets us to skip to the next one. And that gives it that really neat little haptic feel. So that's it. That's everything about the Crossbones. So let's put it back together. Take the ring. I find it's easier. Ring on top first. Now, here's the first decision you have to make is which side is facing down. I know some people might want to put the balls into the ring and then place this down. You can do that, but I find there's less control. I like placing the balls into the side that is already facing down. Okay, and then when that's on, I will take the ring, holding it down, and then I just set it. Now, sometimes the balls kind of move out of their tracks when you do that, so you just have to just give it a little rotate. Now, second Teflon ring I put in, so it's already in place. Now I put the balls into the middle ring because this is the heaviest piece. This is now much heavier than this piece, so it's just a little easier to control. And I will go 1, 2, and I will get these in here. And the last one, and then I'm just making sure I line up this track with the balls. I'm going to hold it down on the bottom piece, and then that's it. Snaps into place. So that's it, gang. That's really all there is to know about the Crossbones. But if you do like unique fidgets and this does appeal to you, then I wouldn't hesitate to get it. At least try it, because it's not a common fidget. So it's kind of nice to, you really have to try it to get a full sense of it. So that's it. Anyways, gang, I'll leave a link in the description. And don't forget, if you do get one, just use my code and you'll get 10% off. Code is the Fidget Fix, of course. Okay, gang, thanks for watching.